This was breaking earlier on from Sam Wallace of The Telegraph. And Sam said, Luis Diaz is yet to agree a new contract extension and could leave the club this summer amid interest from PSG and Barcelona. Liverpool value the Colombian at about £75 million. That information was also backed up with Pipe Sierra, who's been pretty good on this as well, and he has confirmed PSG's interest in Lucho. But what I find interesting about this situation is this. This video is sponsored by Surfshark, the best VPN on the market. Surfshark is an app or browser extension that allows you to change your location to access websites in other countries and keep you safe and secure from hackers. Using Surfshark, we here in Ireland can access other countries' Netflix libraries or other streaming platforms like DAZN in Spain for all those important Premier League games. Surfshark keeps you safe and private by protecting everything you do online. Everything. When your device connects to the internet, all that information is, in a way, blurred out. Surfshark is particularly useful for keeping you safe from being hacked if you use public Wi-Fi. Let's say you're in a cafe, you're at college, you're out and about, they've got you covered. Surfshark allows you to use one subscription on unlimited devices, meaning you can share your account with friends or family or that neighbour who's a little bit cheap. On top of all of this, Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can also upgrade to Surfshark One, which includes the VPN, an alert system for breaches related to your data such as emails and credit cards, and an antivirus software for your desktop. Our sign-up offer gives you Surfshark VPN for a little over €2 a month, and you'll get an additional 3 months free. Simply scan the QR code on screen right now or use the link in the description and enter the code Anfield Agenda at checkout. Lucho's often spoken about his want to go and play in Spain, or with Barcelona specifically. And I think again we could all understand that. But there's no way I'm having a move to PSG is a step up or a step forward from Liverpool. This would have to be one of those Liverpool are looking to cash in scenarios for me, because it's not a step up, you know, and I don't imagine he sat at home as a young boy growing up dreaming about going and playing for PSG. So I want to know your thoughts on this one. How do you think this situation pans out, and would you be interested in selling him for £75 million? I'll get to putting a poll up on that in a minute. Right, let's get the poll up on Diaz, because I want to see how you're feeling about this situation. Because for me, I don't know, I like Diaz and he's been playing really well. But if he's angling for a move away, like anybody else, I wouldn't stand in his way. Right, let me just ask though. Would you sell Diaz for £75 million, yay or nay? Let us know in the comment section. Could we get a bit higher than 75? No. He's not worth more than 75 million if we're being really honest about it. I think 75 million would be a good return for Luis Diaz if the club decided to cash in. Selling our best forward, you guys mad. You do understand that we're going to play with a different system though, right? So it's no good having wide attacking players if we don't play with wide attacking players in the new system. But then again, like was pointed out earlier on, maybe for the first season or two, Ruben Amorim may look to start with a variation of 4-3-3 and change it. So I get why people are uncertain at the minute, because there is a lot of stuff that's up in the air. What I would say to you guys is, I was reading a transcript of an Athletic podcast that had James Pearce, Simon Hughes and Tony Evans, and reading between the lines of their interaction, I feel like they're edging to the side of Mohamed Salah moving on this summer. That's certainly the vibe that I got from the transcript of that podcast. Now, nobody's put their neck out on the line and said categorically that Mohamed Salah will be sold, but I do feel like we're being prepared for that eventuality happening in the summer. I know people like to have a pop at me about these things occasionally because they don't want him to go. I totally understand and appreciate that, but you also have to look at it from the business perspective, and I think it makes sense. I mean, Tony Evans said the same thing as I've been saying, that he wouldn't feel comfortable or doesn't expect that Salah would be offered a pay rise at Liverpool. Now, whether you want to extend him on what he's already on, that's another conversation. But yeah, pay rise I don't think is likely going to happen with Michael Edwards at the helm, with Salah already being the highest paid player at the club. So we'll just wait and see what happens on it. I know there's a lot of what ifs and maybes at the minute, and it is very daunting to sit back and not really know, especially when we've had let's be honest, a great run where we've known that we're able to keep our top players together, that we're able to bring players in like Mohamed Salah and keep them at the club. That's been brilliant over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, not knowing that we haven't had to sell on these players because they've been able to achieve what they've wanted to at Liverpool, be it a Prem, a European Cup. These are good things. But now, new manager, new sporting director, new CEO of football for FSG. I guess there are still a lot of questions left unanswered for us fans. Rather sell Gakpo than Diaz. I think I understand where you're coming from. Look, Diaz has been very good since, let's say, just before the international break and certainly through to now. He's looked like one of our more lively forwards. And I think it would come down to him. You know, if he wants to move on, perhaps Liverpool would listen to offers. I don't know if he's settled or unsettled in Liverpool, but I agree with you. If you're looking at forwards that can contribute more, I would agree and think that, yes, Diaz is more valuable than Gakpo and better than Gakpo. But Gakpo may suit better to an Amorim system. So, yeah, I understand most of the points you guys make. I think everybody has their own opinions on these things, but it is going to be difficult to gauge what happens over the summer months because lots of contracts up in the air. Trent, Salah, and then you've got Carvalho coming back in, players like Sepp van den Berg, Tyler Morton. What happens with those guys? Creevin Kelleher's situation. Maka and them are just as good, said Shane. Well, we've done very well in refreshing our midfield. Really well. And I think we've got good value for the money that we spent refreshing that midfield as well. I feel for Gakpo. He's played so many positions. Hard for him to settle this season. He's a very likeable guy, Cody Gakpo. He just is. He's a lovely fella. Comes across as a very down-to-earth, humble guy. But I've got to be honest. I was always a little bit unsure as to why we bought him. Not because he isn't a good footballer or anything along those lines, but we weren't really in need of that particular position at the time, and I'll still kind of stand over that. But I'm certainly not willing to write him off like some people are. I'm not at that point yet. I still think he has something to offer, and I guess it'll be up to Ruben Amorim and Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards to look over the squad and see who they believe is a good fit and who isn't. It's hard for us to know definitively when there's so much up in the air from the back end side of things. Diaz is playing too good to sell him. It's not, I think again, we're being a little bit short-sighted about the reasons as to why Diaz may be sold. 1, system. 2, Liverpool wouldn't sell unless there was an inkling that the player was interested. And 3, nobody's saying it's definite. All we know for sure is that PSG have an interest in him and that Liverpool value him at £75 million. That's all we know for certain. What the player himself wants, I don't know at this moment in time. You know, all we've seen is that the interest is there. That's been said by Pipa Sierra and by Sam Wallace of The Telegraph. So I don't know if he's going to go or not. The question was just out of interest to see what the viewers thought. You know, if 75 million was on the table, would you take it for Diaz? Diaz is magic and makes the game come to Liverpool, to Gladiators. He is, and he's been brilliant lately. I think we'll all agree that Diaz has probably been the best of the 3 forwards since the international break. Obviously, we all wait for Diogo to come back, but I don't think you're going to get any argument from us that Diaz has probably been our most consistent forward since the international break. So we did say, would you sell Diaz for 75 million? It's fairly split. 54% say yes, 46% say no. Barry Jones said, I think 75 million for Lucho was fair, but I don't really want him to leave, nor Salah. But the consensus seems to be that Darwin will be pivotal in the new system. Does Salah have more chance of leaving or more chance of staying? I would, if you were to ask me straight up, I'd say he's going. Yeah, I think he's going in the summer, mate. I think that's mainly, I think Michael Edwards will have a big influence over that. You know, I'm sure any new manager coming in would like to work with Mohamed Salah. Who wouldn't? But I think Michael Edwards views this as a chance to cash in and bring some funds to rebuild.